You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go! What's up, guys? Welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 151. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on Twitter, and I am joined over Discord by the Nintendo aficionado, Roshan Warner, at Roro, the host of Large Popcorn, and video essayist, Christian Macias, at ISO Christian, and the Tarkov Teletubby himself, Gage Dempster, at Gilbo Biggins. Hello, everyone. What episode are we on?
Yeah. But I don't know how you don't see it when you do that. That was.
What episode are we on?
I'm not gonna get into it. I'm not gonna get into
151?
Correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Ro. And thank you to everyone watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we're live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube. Just search Podcast PXN. You'll find us there, twitch.tv/podcastpxn and Twitter at Podcast PXN. Guys, the topic of the show this week is our discussion over what games we want to see remade that have not been announced already. But first, before we get into the quick bites, because that's usually what we start with, I want to give a little update from last week. So our winner from the controller giveaway last week, we kind of discovered it was a bit of a snafu, but essentially he was not eligible to compete after we discussed it. So we re-rolled the winner, and the new winner was Thomas Richard. So congratulations, Thomas. I already shipped it out to him. So I shipped that out a few days ago. So he should have it very soon, if not already. So
you're quick with it, Dan.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Very cool.
Nice.
Should we mention for future contests that if you give a address in the States, that's very clearly not a residential address, and then when asked why, you say it's because you don't live in the States, that means you're not qualified for the contest.
Yeah.
I feel like we should just put that out there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
We do our due diligence. We make sure that we're not giving away controllers to bots or resellers or anything like that. So just keep that in mind, I guess.
Absolutely.
Now, before we move on, Dan,
Yes.
did you decide whether or not you're going to order yourself another one for your own sake? To have for yourself?
Possibly. I don't know yet. Because, I mean, it isn't cheap for this, so...
True.
But
You are a rich man, though.
I'm definitely
Do you
not
have
rich.
plantation money?
Definitely not plantation money either. Not rich. Jesus Christ. Oh, Jesus.
We can discuss that on 200. We can tell people what happened and the real origins of Podcast PXN.
Sure, we will have lots of things to talk about on 200. All right, guys. Into the quick bites we go here. Dead by Daylight has officially announced their next chapter featuring Resident Evil, and it includes Albert Wesker as a killer and Ada Wong as a survivor, as well as Rebecca Chambers as well as a survivor. They announced this right after our episode last week, so a little bit of good news there for Dead by Daylight.
Ada Wong is my favorite kind of Wong. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. Ada Wong is incredible. I saw a mod today on TikTok of, I think it was RE2. No, I think it was RE2 Remake, and it was Ada Wong dressed as Tifa Lockhart. I was like, man, I should send this to Ro. And then I forgot to, but anyway.
Definitely something I would like to see.
Would you play through Resident Evil 2 if you're playing as Tifa?
Me? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, that sounds
Hell
great.
I
I wouldn't be scared. That would be a different type of feeling.
Yeah.
Different kind of heart rate.
It sounds great until you're, running away from Mr. X.
Chase, yeah.
No.
That's true. That's true.
That's great. The next quick bite, guys. Koch Media is officially rebranding to Play On. This is the most clear name change I've ever seen in my entire life. The wording or the spelling of Play On is PLAION, and they're expecting people to just know that it's Play On and not like Play On or Play On. I don't even know. Like, what I feel like Koch Media was pretty self-explanatory.
What are you saying?
You say that, but that is incorrect. You're mispronouncing it.
It's
Oh.
Koch.
Kosh.
Oh, I didn't know. See,
Both of you.
I guess that proves their point. I guess.
Yeah, play on at least is easier to. It's harder to mess up. I'd say it's spelled weird, but it's still you can get there a lot easier.
I looked it up because I was curious, and apparently I don't know. I saw that German people were saying phonetically it's Koch Media, but I could be wrong.
Oh, you said Coke. Yeah, that is the
Yeah,
correct
Koch
one.
is the
Yes.
correct
Yeah,
one.
I said Kosh. Like a doofus.
I definitely, I
play on
definitely
is
have
weird.
said Koch, Kosh. I've just said all of them, and then at one point I was like, "Listen, we're talking about this. I need to look this up so I know how to say the name."
Yeah,
I would say the
that's
other
weird.
one. That when I
Yeah.
first. Yeah.
Hell yeah!
I don't know if I can say that on the podcast or not, but I guess I won't. Weenie Media, so to speak.
Media Media, yeah.
Right.
Play on.
Play on. Continue to play their games and play on.
Oh, I get it. It's a play on words. Anyway, move on, Dan.
Yes. Moving
Don't
on.
spit.
Guys, we have an August Halo Infinite drop pod update that has been deployed. There's some good quality of life improvements in there. Still more needed. Hopefully coming soon. But some good stuff in here. There's cross-core visors that they're introducing. So between all the different armor cores, you can now have or visor colors that are going across all of them. Previously, they had limited visor colors to just each, armor core. So if you got a certain color for one armor core, you couldn't get it for the other ones. Now they're making it so you can do it for all of them. So that's great. Increased attachment mixing on Mark 7 helmets, so you can put attachments on your helmet that weren't previously available because they were on another helmet, so they've made that a little bit better. Challenges that are in the pause menu, that's a huge quality of life improvement because there's so many times that I forget what challenges I have running, and then I'm like, no, I don't even know what I'm going for in this match, so that's good. They're adding ranked doubles and social doubles, so 2v2 here, I believe, in 2 weeks, which is also part of the drop pod. So yeah, they're also laying the groundwork for region select, which I know a lot of overseas players have had a lot of issues in terms of finding matches. Some Australian players I know in particular.
Hey.
So that should hopefully help with that issue.
Master Chief be like, play my game. Got him.
What?
I had to say something.
Right.
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 More customization, hopefully soon on the way.
This is I was gonna say this is a first step, but this is like a first quarter step. But we're getting there. We're getting there.
Moving.
No, I feel like we say we're getting there like every like 2 weeks.
And yeah, it does feel like that because that's a little bit what's happening. Again, it's such an interesting situation because for as much as Dan and I bicker and have different opinions, like the core gameplay is so good, it's just everything else is broken, which is really unfortunate because, yeah, they nailed it, and it's hard to it's easy to forget that with all the things that they didn't get right, but we're getting there, slowly but surely.
Yes. Moving on from there, Call of Duty Next, guys, is an era-defining live stream event that will show Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, Warzone, and mobile Warzone, whatever that ends up being. But yes, this is a era-defining live stream franchise event, guys. Are you excited?
Bro, when they look back in the history books at the early 21st century, they're gonna talk about this Call of Duty Next presentation.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
gonna
we
be-
joke, but like, I don't know. Transforming Warzone into something else might be really cool. Like that'll be big for. Hey, it is funny. Era defining is maybe a bit much.
There's no way to even. That's
But, like,
ridiculous.
But like DMZ is a huge mode, like to be introducing. So potentially really big.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be as era defining as bring it back, but wager matches. You know what I mean?
I forgot about that.
How could you?
Black Ops 1 did have the best progression system, in my opinion.
I did like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see this game. I want to see more of it. Really interesting that they are holding off so late this time. Normally they start showing things in May or June. I mean, July was really late when they did that last or the year before, I think, for Black Ops. So it seems like they're very confident in this because they're holding out. I don't think they've Christian.
Will anybody else be pre-ordering this game to get access to the beta? And if so, are we going to play? Because I think I'm going to get the beta.
I might. We'll see.
Yeah, I probably will.
Yeah.
Let a pimp know.
Oh, it's on
That's
Steam.
it.
Yeah, you know what? I probably will if it's on Steam, because I hate BattleNet. But
Yeah, it's back on Steam for the first time in a while.
we'll see. We'll see how much it's really on Steam though, because a lot of games that are on Steam, you go to launch it and then it just brings you right to the other launcher anyways, and you're like, all right, well, this is
I
kind of
hate that.
pointless. It's pointless. It doesn't. It's such a misdirect. Like every EA game right now does that. Every Ubisoft game, you can buy the game on Steam, but as soon as you click it from your Steam library, it just opens up the other launcher, and you have to launch it from there
Yep.
anyways. It's literally pointless. So
Yeah,
I hope that that's not what it is, but it's a very good chance that is what it's going to be.
The Microsoft games don't do that, right? They open in Steam actually. Like
They do.
don't- Okay.
Xbox is one of the few, and PlayStation, to be fair. Both of those guys. It's funny. The biggest companies are actually like, no, that's fine. We don't. You guys can just play it on Steam. No big deal.
I don't know. I feel like there have a few games on Xbox where when I launch them on PC, it would open up EA afterwards.
Yeah.
Xbox games that do that?
Xbox games open.
Oh,
EA.
not an Xbox game.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what we mean. Like the first party. Like if you play Psychonauts on Steam, like it doesn't redirect you to the Xbox launcher. I don't
Oh.
think. I think you just play it straight from your Steam account. Which
Now
is
I
nice.
understand. Okay, yeah. Oh, that is nice.
But that's because there's not every game has cross progression, so it is separate. It's not like your Xbox account is linked to your Steam. You can do that for certain games, but like I bought Back for Blood from a Humble Bundle on Steam, and it doesn't have any of my progress from Xbox, so it's kind of like, yeah. But hopefully that's not what the case is. Hopefully you can just play it directly from Steam. But I have a sinking suspicion that that's not the case.
interesting. Talking about era-defining things, guys. Grand Theft Auto 5 has sold 170 million copies. What? That's insane. Like, I don't even know what to say to that because, like, this is a fully fledged title too. It's not like Minecraft where it's like a $10 or $15 game or what. I don't even know how much Minecraft is anymore. But this is impressive from a big AAA game to hit this milestone. Ugh,
I mean, you joke in saying era-defining, but this is actually the closest thing to an era-defining thing that we have in the video game space, because that's nuts. Yeah, I mean, this game very well may hit 200 million copies sold, and that's unbelievable. 150 million copies sold is kind of unbelievable in today's standard, right? But that's nuts. The only question I would have is this, when they separated GTA Online from GTA 5, are they counting GTA Online sales? In which case, it's not really GTA 5, but it is. It's kind of, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's still on number 1 though.
True.
GG Minecraft.
GG.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm again. I know we did this already before, but I'm looking through the top selling games of all time. Let's just get rid of Tetris is number 3. So just get rid of Tetris for a second, because like that's a classic game. Get rid of Wii Sports, which is huge, but that was like a bundle in. Get rid of PUBG. Like the next like AAA game under that would be Super Mario Bros. for like the NES, which is at 58 million.
Wow.
170 is a lot. And granted, like it's been on what 3 consoles now at this point. It's like a 10-year-old game, but still, for it to have legs this long, unprecedented.
Yeah, and like you were saying, like I know we took it off the list, but it's like competing with classic games that have been around for forever. So
Yes.
the fact that it's up there with those types of games, it's really impressive. And it's definitely gonna. Well, I think it'll probably reach that crazy 200 million by the time GTA 6 comes around, whenever that'll be. So I feel like people are still going to be buying this game until that comes around.
Well, from a marketing standpoint, from a business standpoint, I'd imagine the bigwigs and like the CEOs at Take-Two are probably thinking to themselves, if this hits 200 million, nothing will probably top it. So I would not be surprised if in the lead up to GTA 6 they have events in GTA 5 to build the hype and to get that last little sort of, push for sales for GTA 5 to try and get that number as high as possible. Because I think a better way to put it, Christian, is like compare GTA 5 against non-bundled full price games, because that does knock out everything you did. PUBG was like $49.99 Canadian, and the American equivalent, like I think $39.99 or whatever that was. Like you said, Wii Sports is bundled with a console, so that does throw things off. When you start comparing it to full priced, adjusting for inflation, full price games that were not bundled, it's leagues ahead of everything. It's crazy.
Indeed. Guys, this is kind of a PSA in here, but I'm throwing it in here. Spectre, which is a spiritual successor to Spies vs. Mercs multiplayer from Splinter Cell, it was announced a year ago, and we actually reported on it a year ago, is getting a hands-on at PAX. I really want to see this. I love Spies vs. Mercs from Splinter Cell. I want it.
Sick.
I missed this completely. I'm watching this trailer for the first time. This looks awesome.
Oh,
This looks really cool. Yeah, I did not see this.
Oh, okay.
This looks cool. I like this.
We're on board. PXN game night when Spectre comes out. Anywho.
Hey, hold on.
What?
You say this, but there are like 3 games we still have yet to play together. All right.
There's like a list of
There's a longer
20.
list than that.
Yeah.
There's
That's what I'm saying.
Yep. That's fair. But remember, Christian, you can't just recommend stuff. You have to be a recommendee
Exactly.
as well.
Exactly.
A little token from the pre-show, anyone who was watching.
See, it's all about balance, right? It's like if you recommend something and I watch it, and you recommend something again and you haven't fulfilled your end of the bargain, that weight of me taking your recommendation is going to get lower and lower until it balances. It's all about balance.
I'm sorry. Are you not enjoying the rehearsal?
I'm sorry, it's fantastic, but you got to trust
That's right.
that the terror is also fantastic. All right?
I believe you, but I'm a curator above everything else.
Christian, listen.
Why don't you curate these nuts?
Gage is sorry. Gage is sorry. Okay.
See, back at it with the casual
Sorry.
racism. Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm American. I don't pronounce anything. Oh, sorry. Oh, roof. Oh, it's up on the roof. I gotta get onto the roof.
The garage.
The garage. Yeah.
The garage. Anywho, moving on. Half-Life 2 is getting an official, or not an official, but a VR mod coming as a public beta in September. Obviously, Half-Life Alyx got pretty high praise when it came out for VR. So I don't know. Are you guys gonna jump into some Half-Life 2 VR if this comes out September?
First of all, I need to play Half-Life 2, so I mean,
There you go.
yes. If it's, I don't know. I don't know if I'd do VR just because I would probably want to play the game proper first. However, Half-Life mods are insane because there's a Half-Life Alyx mod that's like basically like a John Wick-esque kind of shoot 'em up, and there's like multiple missions that looks like really cool. So I don't doubt like mods for Half-Life 2 VR would be just as awesome. So I don't know. Like yeah.
Heck yeah. Okay. Moving into our Splatoon 3 Direct news that we got today. So Nintendo held their little Splatoon 3 Direct this morning and had some announcements about it. Splatoon 3 has an in-game card game called Table Turf Battle, a 1v1 competitive mode with over 150 cards to collect. So another game with a card game inside of it, which a lot of times actually those card games inside of games are actually pretty cool. So that sounds interesting.
Table turf card game. Who's the boss? J.K. Rowling.
My goodness. My goodness.
Do you get it?
I can't. Wait
Do
a
you get
second.
it though?
First of all, yes, I do. I do get it. Second of all, I can't believe you led with table.
I'm sorry.
That part. The direct was amazing. It was super long and meaty. Had a bunch of great stuff in it.
But did you see the Gwent part?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Jeez.
I was just
No, it's
following
okay.
it in order.
Oh, there's more? Okay, sorry. I thought
Yes.
you were
Oh,
done.
no.
Okay.
No.
I
No, could you
apologize.
imagine
No, I'm
if
sorry.
we were talking about The Witcher 3 and
I thought
we
you were
got the
moving
first
on to the
gameplay
story.
deep dive and Dan starts with Gwent and he's
Gwen.
I apologize. I didn't actually watch the stream. I'm following Nebellian's
Okay.
tweets.
Then
and-
I'm sorry, Dan.
No,
I
you're
apologize. I
okay.
jumped to conclusion.
It's okay. It's okay. There was also a new look at Splatoon 3's story mode, which it comes with its own dialogue as well, which it looks very interesting and obviously new for Splatoon. I don't think the first two games had campaigns, right, Ro?
The second one did.
Oh, it did. Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Wow.
I apologize. I didn't play either one, so I don't know.
How dare you doubt the Nintendo aficionado?
No, I didn't doubt him. I lean on him for the expert answer.
Oh my god, wait.
What?
No, sorry, go ahead. I just
Oh.
had something.
They also revealed Splatoon 3 Amiibo coming this holiday, which I think the Amiibos always look fantastic. It doesn't even matter what franchise it is. I love the look of
Wait.
the Amiibo. What happened?
The plural of amiibo is amiibo?
Yeah.
Look
That's
at
like
all these
fish and fish.
amiibo.
Yeah. Exactly.
Interesting. I'm learning.
Yeah. I'm not going to say Amiibos. Here's my Amiibos.
You just did.
You never say it again.
Roll that back, everyone, because I don't think I said Amiibos.
Don't start this again.
I-
Don't start this again.
What? Roll that
Timestamp
back,
it,
ladies
everyone.
and gentlemen. I don't think I said that, but anywho.
You paused before you added the S on Amiibo.
Yeah, sorry. A big DLC is also coming down the line for Splatoon 3, and they also announced 2 years of free post-launch support, which is really, really cool. Love to see that kind of stuff. And also, Ro, we got Fry and Shiver and Big Man who were revealed.
Big man.
Hell yeah.
And lastly, or correct me if I'm wrong, Ro, but this is the last thing he has here. Splatfest returns with 3 teams to choose from this time. And I don't know what Splatfest is, but I will let you.
Like domination, but with ink on the floor, yeah?
Yeah. It's like you choose a team and you represent your team in the basic mode, which is turf war, like you said, and say maybe they'll do PlayStation, Xbox versus Nintendo. You choose a team and you play the turf war, and whatever team ends up with the most territory by the end wins. Why are you nodding your head like that?
I'm a child in the brain, that's why.
But yeah, it's cool that they have three teams now, and they did a really cool. I don't know how to explain it properly, but they did incorporate the 3 teams in an interesting way into the turf battle, which is usually 2v2 or 2 teams battling it out. So instead of there's 2 teams on either side, and the third team is in the middle, and usually the third team that's in the middle is whatever team is ahead in the overall Splatfest. But yeah, it's going to be cool to see what kind of stuff they do. There's going to be a Splatfest in 2 weeks that will be free for everybody to play before the game comes out, and the first theme is rock, paper, scissors. Yeah.
There's gonna be a Splatfest at Daniel's house
Dude,
on episode.
oh, yeah.
I knew it. I was waiting for it.
There was I think there was one time where they made the bad choice of having white ink for one of their Splatfests.
Oh,
Nice.
And it was-
no.
Oh, it was a mess online,
Oh,
dude.
that's
It was
amazing.
amazing.
Let me get this straight. Not only is Splatoon pro-war, it also promotes toxic fan bases via its competition gameplay.
Absolutely.
That's one way to look at it for sure.
Okay.
Or it's a video game.
Why can't we just have like hug wars, you know?
That doesn't sound very fun.
You're right.
I
Well,
feel like
you-
this is like the
I would
most.
like
Could you
Well,
imagine The Last
shooter.
of Us Part 2 if she's just like, yeah, I forgive you, and then the game ends and it's 5 minutes long?
Ah, it's incredible. I need a hug, bro. Keeping it real, I need a hug. Daniel?
Episode 200.
Daniel is not providing hugs at this time. Moving on, guys, to some video game movie news. We've got a live-action Pac-Man movie on the way, guys, in development from Chuck Williams. The direct, what is that for? The creator of the Sonic movie. Christian does not like that, apparently. I'm not sure what a live-action Pac-Man movie looks like. Like at least Sonic, like I saw what vision they had once they, revealed the original one. But like, I can't even imagine what a live action Pac-Man would look like.
I mean, we couldn't imagine what a Wreck-It Ralph movie would look like, and that movie was incredible.
Fair?
Yeah. It's a shame I don't have any faith in Chuck Williams.
Is there enough content and meat on the bone for a Pac-Man movie, though? Because, like, I don't know. This seems like the type of announcement where it's like, hey, your favorite sidekick from that thing is getting their own thing, and then you watch it and you're like, yeah, this doesn't work. There's not enough here. This if I had to guess, I feel like that's what a Pac-Man feature-length film is going to be.
Well, our other piece of video game movie news, Sonic Movie 3 is officially coming to theaters December 20th,
Now we're
2024. Yes, me and Ro can be excited for this, Christian. We don't care that you're down on it.
Wait, I'm sorry. Who is Chuck Williams?
That's a great question.
Um,
Apparently, you're not a fan of him, though.
yeah.
You don't even know what you're saying. You're just throwing out thumbs down.
He's producing.
Producer, okay.
Okay, I mean that's fine. We'll see who's like writing and directing the Pac-Man movie, so I'll take that back. If Jeff Fowler is directing Sonic 3, then all faith is lost, my friends. Will I still be there? Absolutely. After that post-credit scene, no way I'm missing the third one.
Oh my god.
Right?
It's going to be great. Number 2 is great.
Well,
I wonder if Jim Carrey is going to retire or not. Moving on. Gamescom is coming ahead, guys. Xbox has announced a 6-hour live stream to show off games.
Are we sure about that? That's correct? That's the correct amount of hours?
Yes.
Fuck's sakes.
To show off games for the next 12 months of games already announced. So, yeah, that is a long time. But
do we need this?
No.
I will say though, it's not intended to be like a presser or anything like that. They're just basically having their game show up like a show floor event type thing. So like these games are going to be playable on the show floor, and they're essentially showing off these things on a live stream.
Like some deep dives, some interviews, I guess.
But so here's the question I have: are they doing all of the trailers and like video announcements first and then, or is this going to be something where it's like tune in at 1 p.m. to see a little bit about this, and then tune in again at 4:30 p.m. to see a little bit about this, and then tune in at 6 p.m. if you want to know something about that? This is too much.
No,
like the Game Awards, or well, I guess we can use Summer Games Fest as an example, but Game Awards is the one I think is infamously too long. That's like a bunch of different publishers, and it still feels too long. This is just one Xbox show.
Well,
and it's 6 hours.
There's no announcements or anything like that. This is just for like live gameplay of these games that are coming in the next 12 months.
Right, but if you're somebody who's not there and the show floor side of things doesn't mean anything to you, are you going to have to tune in every couple of hours when they switch over to a new game to show gameplay? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll have breakouts and stuff like that. Personally,
I feel
I'm just saying, personally, I won't watch this, but I don't really have a problem with it, because if you want to watch it, you'll tune in, and if not, then don't.
Yeah.
The poor journalists who have to are assigned
that's
watch this thing and write this stuff. 6 hours. Put up some blog stuff on YouTube, 15-minute dev diaries, and space that out over the course of a week or two. Would be, I don't know. But I guess if it's a Gamescom thing, then sure.
Or just separate it, right? Like if you're doing stuff in person, throw up all the trailers on a YouTube or a blog post, like you're saying, and then have all the stuff happen in person. Just not yeah, that's strange.
I don't think
I can't wait.
Sorry.
I mean, I'm looking at the lineup of games and do I need 30 minutes on Gunfire Reborn? I don't know what that is.
I think you do.
Is that the Doom one where everything looks like high fantasy? Because if so, that looks cool.
Oh, then sure. Yeah. You got me there.
Well,
okay.
even still, no, you're not wrong, because I don't need 30 minutes of that. I don't need 30 minutes of the Last of Us remake. Give me a 7-minute trailer. That's fine. 7-minute gameplay. I got it. I get the idea.
Yeah. I just don't think this is catered to be an event that we're supposed to tune in and watch and look out for announcements and stuff like that. I think it's just strictly for people who just want to check out these games and watch them.
Yeah. But it's 6 hours. I'm sorry, I'm being a hater. But like,
Right.
I like that is a lot of time and resources to be sinking into producing something that's this long. That's crazy to me,
It's a strange decision. We'll see how it shakes out.
for sure.
All right. Moving on from there, a new Sonic Frontiers trailer is coming to Gamescom opening night live, coming August 23rd. So, Ro, gonna get excited for a new trailer coming to Jeff Keighley's opening night live show.
I am. Should I be? That is questionable, but I am excited for a new trailer. Absolutely. Can't wait. Christian.
I will add as well. People have seen this game behind closed doors and like some of the stuff we read about it. Like I don't want to call it the isekai stuff, but like the other levels that you're playing and like the 3D kind of not on rails, but like more linear
The
missions that you
cyberspace
do.
levels.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting to me. And honestly, there's a new like art that run up recently this week of Sonic Frontiers that like looks kind of gorgeous. I still don't have any faith that the game is going to be like incredible by any means, but I don't know. I'll watch this new trailer for sure as well. Why not?
Definitely. And I don't think it's here, but Destiny 2 is doing their stream on the 23rd as well, and I completely forgot that Destiny 2 usually does their big announcements around Gamescom, so I'm excited for that as well. I think it's the same day, August 23rd.
Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Is it?
No.
That's like all these years been celebrating on the wrong day.
Do we think before we move on to move off of Gamescom? I just noticed that the wording of the Call of Duty Next specifically mentions multiplayer gameplay. Do we think we get single player campaign at this year's Gamescom? We did get the Call of Duty Vanguard deep dive last year.
I possibly. I'm not sure. Christian?
I'm sorry, I heard none of what Gabe said. I was typing in the Google Doc. I
It's
heard
fine.
none.
It's
I heard
fine.
nothing.
I thought we were talking about video games. That's my bad. I guess I just came to the wrong podcast. No big deal.
You said Call of Duty? Call of Duty, is that going to be at Gamescom? Is that what you said?
Do we think campaign gameplay is gonna be shown at Gamescom?
That's this weekend? I don't know, because I think Call of Duty has moved to more like we're going to show off our things on our own time when we want to. I think they want to focus on multiplayer.
That is
First,
not this
and then do
weekend.
single-
It's a couple weekends away.
You're right. Okay.
I
If I
bring
were
this up because Vanguard got an extensive deep dive last Gamescom for its campaign, and the Call of Duty Next thing specifically mentions showing off multiplayer. Warzone.
Yeah. If it happens, I think you would probably see an announcement that it will happen sometime within the next week. But
Okay.
right now, I'm 50-50 on whether or not it'll actually happen.
Interesting. Okay.
I have no idea what's happening next here because I don't.
Sorry for that interruption. I didn't mean to interrupt with video game questions. My bad.
No, you're fine. I'm just confused by the chat here. Christian vibe check video game check-in apparently is next here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That should be possessive. So it's time for Christian's vibe check video game check-in.
Oh,
mouthful.
like
There's been some Twitter discourse today. I mean, it started yesterday, but it's spilled over into today. There was like a 30-second Forspoken trailer on Twitter that featured the playable protagonist. Got you, Dan. Don't worry. Hold on. Talking, I guess, just like using like the narration that she's gonna use like in the game, and people are absolutely dunking on it. And honestly, I can see why. I think the marketing for this game has been really strange and hasn't really been. They've been off ever since that article came like out where like they were talking about how she has a hip hop walk. Ever since then, I think consensus has shifted on whether or not Forspoken will end up being good. So I want just a vibe check to see how everyone is feeling now as a Forspoken.
I'm gonna come in hot with a hot take. You ready?
Ooh.
Tell me.
Because I like to look past the headlines and do some research. All right. When that headline broke, they said that it was the lead writer who said that she's got kind of a hip hop walk, and everybody's kind of like, "Hey, that's a little." Turns out it wasn't. Turns out it was an animator who has a background in choreography and dancing. I feel like that changes the context a little bit. That changes things from somebody who may have a racial bias to somebody who maybe has years of different lingo and innocently chose the wrong thing of words. The guy's like a dance choreographer, and now he's an animator for this. I feel like that changes the context a little bit. Now, oh, sorry, go ahead.
But I still think the team is mostly made up of white men who are writing a black woman, which could be a little bit problematic.
But we don't know that yet.
But we don't. Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
I'm just trying to, like, for me, it's like, I don't know. I think that those sort of things have weight, and I want to make sure that if I'm throwing that around, that I know that it's, I don't know. Personally, for me, I need to see a bit more of that before I cast that label, because this could be a bunch of people who are really passionate about what they're making. Now, in terms of, it seems like this 30-second trailer that you saw, it looks like it was a collection of quips that I would imagine that your character throws out during open world exploration or combat, because it didn't seem like it was a coherent like narration. It was just kind of like a bunch of quips. That's how I read it. Now, sorry, go ahead, Ro.
Is it not marketing, Ro?
I don't know if I thought it was just like, I don't even know if this is going to be in the game, actually.
I think just trailer stuff, right?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I saw something else. I saw something else where it's her running around and she's saying a bunch of lines, and it's showing.
It's like I'm in somewhere that doesn't seem like Earth.
Yeah,
right.
It's like, I guess I do this
dragons.
now. I talk to my bracelet.
Okay, so we are talking about the same thing.
Okay, yeah.
Now, is the writing bad? Yeah, it doesn't look great. But I will just to point out, Dan and I are definitely the most critical of video game journalists here. Like, we definitely have a critical eye for it. I just like to say that, like, everybody's like pro developer until something like this comes out. People are dogpiling on this. Like, a lot of people that I'm surprised that are like high up in the video game industry, I'm like, you guys are really tearing this thing apart. Like, I don't know. It just seems like everybody's got the teeth are out for this game, and I'm like, why can't it just be like unremarkable? Y'all are really going for the jugular with this. I don't know. It seems like everybody was really sort of like out to get this and dogpile on this, but I mean, doesn't look great. The game. Well, this is the thing with this game. This is my vibe check. I'm still interested in the gameplay. It looks really fluid and really fun, and I actually really like the actress. We should talk about Resident Evil actually, because last time we talked about Resident Evil, I said it was really good, and I only saw the first episode, and we need to talk about it. But anyways, the lead actor in Resident Evil is I didn't know this is the main character in this, and I'm kind of excited about that because I really like her. So I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see. I'm gonna see what the reviews say.
I will add real quick as well before Dan goes. Sorry. I think Imran had the right approach to this, which is to not dogpile on the game itself, but critique the marketing of it specifically. Right. Which I think is the right approach to go with a video like that, where it's like, why are we seeing this? I would love more of an extended gameplay demo, like an actual slice of like, here's 15 minutes.
Right.
That I think would go a long way for getting some goodwill back, as opposed to whatever this was. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I've been pretty lukewarm on the game lately, just because it hasn't really shown anything that I've been super excited about. However, like this kind of stuff, like I'm just confused by why people are like, using it to speak critically about it, because these things could be spoken out of context. They could be cut dialogue. They could be things that don't even show up in the game that we like. I don't even know. Like, there's so many times where games even have trailers that the trailer doesn't even exist in the game. It's just like a marketing thing. A great example of that is Destiny, because they had so many trailers back in the original Destiny that were completely like irrelevant to the actual game and the story of what happened in that universe. It's kind of famously known for being like Activision was in control of the marketing, and Bungie looked at the marketing that they came up with, and they're like, what the hell, this isn't what we are building here. But at least in the early goings of that. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of just want to, step back and see what the game ends up being when it comes out, and go from there.
Something just came to me real quick, because before I forget to say it. I think the big reason why I was kind of rubbed the wrong way about the sort of discourse on Twitter about this is that, and this is outside of video games. There's a lot of things that have this problem where it's like, especially like stand-up comedians nowadays, where it's like there's this kind of perception where it's like, if you see something that you don't like, instead of saying it's not for me, some people will just be like, no, this is bad. I'm thinking about this Forspoken trailer, and a lot of this stuff didn't land for me. And everybody's like you said, there's a lot of people online dog piling on this and dunking it and like criticize. I mean, again, not very pro dev in my opinion, but whatever, it's fine. But to me, this was the high on life game or whatever. Like everybody loved that when that came out. I watched that trailer and I was like, none of these jokes are landing. It's not for me. They didn't say anything about it. I didn't rip it to shreds on Twitter. I was just like, this game is not for me. Like, the guns are people. That's kind of funny, but the humor in that totally over my head. Like, just not for me. And while I agree with the Forspoken trailer, like not really well written in my opinion. It's just funny how people can't just be like, this is not for me, as opposed to just going like in on it and saying this is bad, this is awful. It's like, wow, that's okay. That's
yeah. The replies are a bit insane. I'll say that.
Yeah. And I was surprised by how many like some of the comments that were made from some people in the industry where I'm like, hey, that's a little against the grain, but whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, I think somebody mentioned just now that why did they do this and not give us like a 15-minute gameplay trailer instead of doing a weird shortcut on Twitter? And we have gotten a 10-minute one. And wasn't it just like, I think it was like 2 weeks ago that we're talking about Gotham Knights, and we're like,
True.
oh wow, that's 16 minutes. I'm not going to watch that. So we're
Yeah.
kind of all over the place on that one.
Oh, fair, bro.
To be fair,
Yeah.
I said nothing of a 10-minute gameplay trailer. That's too much for me. I think a good 5-6 minutes I would be happy with. But
yeah, so it definitely depends, and in their defense, they have already put out a gameplay trailer that's 10 minutes long, and that was this year, March. But what we're talking about is Vibe Check, and I was excited for this game when it was first announced, and then ever since then I've been like, I don't know. And this trailer didn't help, but I don't think it was that bad. But the dialogue was like, I don't think that's going to be in the game though. I think that's specifically for the trailer.
for sure.
But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Right now,
yeah.
4 months ago, Game Informer had a 10-minute trailer on
Did
gameplay.
anything else come out? Was that around any sort of events or anything like that? I wonder if it got lost in the weeds.
March?
I can't remember.
It was March.
No.
It must have been like a Game Informer first or something, or like an
Okay.
exclusive. Yeah.
Yes, it was on Game Informer's cover that month because I got that magazine. I think.
Yeah,
right?
I do feel bad for them because it seemed like everybody was all on the same page when they announced this because it had a really intriguing concept. And then unfortunately, it seems like the more they've shown, it's kind of like people are kind of just getting less interested, which is the way it goes sometimes for sure. But I definitely didn't think it was the worst thing in the world, but it was definitely not great. I'm hoping you're right, Ro. I'm hoping that this is kind of like this is dialogue for the trailer, just for.
And if it is, I agree with you guys. It's an interesting choice. Why they went that route.
Right.
But yeah, I'm hoping it's not actually in the game because then there's just probably going to be more of that type of writing, and that's not good.
Yes.
Thank you for participating in Christian's Vibe Check video game check-in.
And now we've made it to Gage Has Something Too segment.
Oh,
which is super unfortunate that I wasn't specific because I forgot what it was.
Oh no!
I definitely forgot what it was, but we can pivot to. I just want to, for posterity's sake, for my own, because I take what I say seriously. Okay, a few episodes ago, I came on here and I mentioned the Resident Evil. I was one episode deep, and I came on here and said, "It's great, it's fun." Listen, it's not good. It's not very good. I will say, I've never seen Lance. I know Lance Reddick from The Wire, the greatest show in the history of the world, in my opinion. And I've never got to see him do any sort of comedy. And there's a few episodes later in the season where he's fantastic. Lance Reddick is awesome. I would absolutely recommend everybody just watch a supercut of all of his scenes. It doesn't matter if you're confused or don't know what's going on, because he's fantastic. And the plot twist that happens with him later in the show, it was funny. I was digging it. Really not good though. Wow, really not good. There were some really cringy moments that I think we've all maybe seen online, and it made me want to spit when it happened. I was like, what am I watching? And I was like episode 7. I was like, why am I still watching this? But I was taken by the lead actor. I think she does a really good job, and Lance Reddick is fantastic. But I would just like to update the audience so that you're not taking what I need to come clean and say that I jumped the gun. I jumped the gun when I said Resident Evil is good. It's not good, but Lance Reddick's great. So there's that.
And here I am saying I actually liked the Resident Evil series on Netflix. So
I didn't hate it. Like it was one of those things where I was watching it and I was like, you definitely have your own style. Like that's cool. It's kind of like if you meet a person in real life and they're like, they're a happy person, but they're talking about how Mercury's in retrograde and they've never taken medicine in their life. They just use essential oils, and it's like, this really isn't for me, but I'm glad you're doing you. That's what this show's like for me. So, yeah, watch at your own peril. I think everybody should watch a supercut of Lance Reddick, though. He's amazing in that, especially the later episodes.
What are your guys' opinions on people who use lemon as deodorant?
Oh, that's a thing. I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah,
You just slap it on
bad.
there.
hey, just rub it.
And is it effect like is it effective? What's the science on that?
Yeah. It's healthier than like antiperspirant for sure. That like kind of messes with
I
the
remember-
cells there.
I remember using baking powder when I was in high school. Like that was a
think I did.
thing that my
Yeah, for sure.
mom was like, "Do you use that?" I was like, "Okay, this is weird, but all right. I trust you. You're my mother."
I will say, yeah, your average deodorant is really bad for you. That's why I use Dr. Squatch. Actually, legitimately, it's fantastic. It's really good. Today's sponsor is Dr. Squatch. Use code Daniel Prindle at drsquatch.com and you'll get 69% off your first order.
Wow,
that's
a big discount.
It's a good value, yeah.
Use code PauseMaster Daniel.
Pausemaster Prindle.
Don't even.
You got to move on, Dan. You got to get us out of here.
Don't even get me started.
Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait.
I'm about to take the bait. I'm about to take the bait here in a second.
You just gotta pause and recollect your thoughts, Dan. Take a pause and just breathe it out.
Yeah. What's the first Modern Warfare game called? Call of
Modern
Duty
Warfare.
4 Modern Warfare.
You did a poll and it was
Modern
split, Dan.
Warfare.
It was split.
Not
Because
Modern
everyone
Warfare.
said, "Hey, everyone, hop on COD 4 tonight."
Oh, really,
Yeah.
Christian? Oh,
Let's go play COD 4.
how many
guys.
people called it COD 4 back in the day, Christian?
Dan,
How many?
according to
A
your-
lot of
according to your
people.
own
52% of my poll. Yes, you're
Oh my
right,
God.
Gage. 52%
Oh
of my
my
poll
good Lord.
said they
You
called
won
it
by a
COD
rounding
4
error.
back then.
You won.
It's
by a rounding
irrelevant.
error.
Me winning is irrelevant. The point is almost 50% of people in that poll, and I would say that it was probably more than that because my entire friend group back then called it COD 4. Like that's
Guys,
literally what
I
they.
polled my audience. They agree with me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Listen,
How
this
many
is
people,
gonna be-
Christian? You played Call of Duty back in the day. How many people in your friend group called it COD 4 versus Modern Warfare?
Nobody called it COD 4. Nobody.
That's
said that number.
bullshit. That is
nobody
bullshit.
called it COD 4 in my group either. It's Modern Warfare.
After the fact, after Modern Warfare 2 came out, it
No, before that.
hard to
It's either hop on COD or let's play Modern Warfare.
Yep.
Anywho, moving on. I was still wronged. Moving on. Oh wait, Ro, your segment now because they got their own segments that they randomly created in the middle of the show. So now it's time for you to create one.
I got nothing. You're putting me on the spot here, Dan.
I'm sorry.
I got. I'm sorry. I'm not ready.
It's okay. Moving on to Street Meat. Black Ops 4 campaign details have seemingly leaked 4 years later, guys. Perfect timing for this to come out right as we're talking about Call of Duty Modern Warfare. It was apparently going to be a cooperative live service campaign that was connected to Black Ops 4's multiplayer modes and specialists. The report arrived following months of research and discussions with those familiar with the canceled campaign. It included 400 images of concept art, storyboards, etc. The campaign was reportedly set in 2070 during the Year of Chaos and followed on from the events of Black Ops 3. It was also playable solo. The game would revolve around a 2v2 race to the finish mechanic, with the world state changing depending on which teams accomplish their goals first. This sounds like a wild campaign experience that I guess that's why it was canceled. It was kind of too wild for its own good, I guess.
Oh, this is the one. Yeah, that's just the one that didn't have a campaign. That's right.
Correct. Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah,
Right.
did have a great battle royale though. I liked Blackout a lot actually.
It was really technically impressive for a console battle royale because that was really the only at that point PUBG wasn't on console. It was still really poorly optimized. I don't think there was a lot of battle royales that you could play that were first person shooters on console. I remember yeah having a lot of fun with Blackout.
Anyways, thank you for that 14-second answer, Gage. Moving on to our PXN news of the week, guys. Xbox news. We've got some Xbox news. Microsoft has started testing a Game Pass Ultimate family sharing plan in Ireland and Colombia. It is going for €21.99, which roughly translates to $25 US per month. And there are 4 people that can join your family plan. So it's you and 4 other people. So a total of 5 people can join this family plan. Very interesting stuff for so many months and probably year plus that we've been hearing about this family plan. They're finally putting it into a testing phase, which is very interesting. And the value is definitely there. If it's $25 a month for 5 people, divide that out, $5 a month for Game Pass Ultimate. That's insane if this is what the final price ends up being.
Oh wait, I thought it was 4 max, but that's 4 people joining you, so that'd be 5
Correct.
total. That is $5 a month. That is pretty cheap. I worry for a Game Pass in the long haul. I'm not gonna lie to you when I see stuff like this, but I mean, I'm gonna take advantage 1,000%, just like Movie Pass.
Yeah. But in addition to that, we also got news on an Xbox Series S performance boost that is on the way, freeing up hundreds of megabytes of memory. Apparently, one of the bottlenecks that developers have been running into on Xbox Series S has been memory limitations, and they're saying hundreds of additional megabytes of memory are now available to Series S developers. That gives developers more control over memory, which can improve graphics performance in memory-constrained conditions. So hopefully that will help out any performance issues that developers have been having getting Series S kind of on par with what Series X is doing. Some very good stuff all around there. The Game Pass family plan has me very excited about the possibilities there.
More expensive in the US, technically.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what €21.99 is translated, but
Did you know?
Mike?
Well, okay. Did you know 2 weeks ago the euro fell more than the dollar, so the dollar was worth more.
Oh, yeah.
Very interesting.
Sorry, I don't know.
The more you know. Anywho, guys,
We went into the fun facts with Christian segment of the show.
yeah,
And I've got them.
we've got a slew of delays on the way for our last PXN news item of the week. And the first one is Marvel's Midnight Suns from Firaxis has been delayed until next year. Of course, this is coming from the developers of XCOM, and I think we've been talking about this game before, and we really haven't seen a whole lot from this game, so I guess it's not terribly surprising to see it get delayed. But we also have Multiversus Season 1 getting delayed indefinitely. Also, Morty, that was supposed to come at the launch as well, has been delayed indefinitely as well. It's seemingly because they don't have the content ready, so it's coming at a later date. It will remain in open beta until then, and the open beta has actually surpassed 10 million players now, which is insane. Really good numbers for a pretty niche fighting game, I feel like. Although, yeah, anyway. But
Niche.
the last one we have is Arc Raiders has been delayed until next year, into 2023. And yeah,
That hurts.
I guess Gage is upset about that one.
I am. I want a third-person looter shooter. All right, it's my preferred point of view. I want to see my character, especially if I'm getting new loot and new costumes all the time. All right, I want third-person looter shooter, and Arc Raiders looks fun.
Wait. Midnight Suns. How long is the delay?
We don't-
Next year.
I
I
don't think-
thought. I thought they said by
This
the
is
end of
saying-
their fiscal year.
We've made the decision to move back the launch timing. Ensure we will launch later this fiscal year.
Yes,
Right, which could be ends in March 2023, I believe.
or June.
Is it June?
I guess it depends on what their
Oh,
fiscal
you're
year
right,
is,
yeah.
but typically it's June or like July 1 is the start of the new fiscal year.
Okay. I thought it was
This
March.
to me is the most worrying of the three, if I'm being honest. I feel like maybe some kind of behind the scenes playtesting has revealed that maybe like the card based kind of. I mean, I say card based, but it isn't entirely that. But it might not have been as great or as fun as they were hoping it would be, and they need to go back and do some tweaks and overhauls to make sure that they release a quality product. Granted, like if that's the case, then yeah, take your time as much as you need for sure, because this game looks actually kind of cool, and I'm honestly interested in it. That sucks that we're getting this kind of delay, but like, yeah, I mean, if it ends up good in the long haul, then heck yeah.
I totally agree. They again, it's not a lot. I agree, but they do have some gameplay of Midnight Suns on YouTube. They did an 8-minute one, and I think Eric's has a longer video of it on his channel. But yeah, I think it's cool too, Christian. I think it looks like a fun time, especially like I like XCOM. I haven't played all of them, but I like that style of gaming. I have to be in the mood for it, but when I'm in the mood for them, I really dig it. So it having the Marvel skin on it and being able to build these relationships with the characters, having that kind of like a almost visual novel like dialogue sort of section of the game on top of the strategy stuff really speaks to the type of stuff that I like to play. So I hope whatever this delay isn't bad news and that they do fix whatever issues they're having, because yeah, I'm definitely interested in this game. This is another one where I went through a bunch of emotions with, like Forspoken, but in the opposite direction, where when I was first announced, like I don't know about this, and now I'm excited for it. So good luck to the devs, and I hope it's sooner rather than later.
I think Multiverses is the one that's okay in this because, of course, the game's still going on. It's an open beta and seems to be doing well. And it's a ton of fun. I've played it quite a bit. Very, very good. Very good. Moving into quick fantasy critic draft check-in. Cult of the Lamb has gotten a reviews releasing, and it is launching tomorrow, apparently during lunchtime, as Christian has said here.
Yes.
It is sitting at 86 top Metacritic average on, or not Metacritic, top critic average on OpenCritic, which means Christian is currently due to get about 16 points from the game, so that's pretty good. You're going to be moving up the list here, Christian. You're going to be at 105 points. Broke 100.
Triple digits, baby. Devolver Digital does not let me down.
I want to play this game so bad. It's so good.
Very interesting.
What am I sitting at for points?
Yeah. I'm sorry, Gage. I didn't mean to laugh there. You're at 4 points.
You did though, but you did. You laughed.
You're at 4.
And not only did you laugh, but you
Now-
you laughed for like a good 4 or 5 seconds.
To be fair, though, you gotta update your list because there's 1, 2, 3 games in here, 4 games in here that have already been confirmed not coming this year. So you got to get this list in tip-top shape here, Gage, because you're missing some games. You gotta swap those out.
You laughed for as long as you paused in between Modern Warfare and 2.
Oh
just
my
now.
god!
Looking
You
at
know
Gage's list, I don't know if Somerville's coming this year either.
It's not. It got delayed.
Yes, correct.
So 5 games. Dang.
You know what?
How do I even have enough points, or how does that work for swapping games? Am I even allowed to swap that many games?
I think I allowed up to 2 drops.
Oh,
If I
good.
remember correctly.
Oh, good.
So
What? And wait, if a game gets delayed out of the year, you get a 0. You just get it's just null. You don't get any points for it.
correct.
Okay, that's not the worst thing. It just puts more weight on the choices that do come out this year.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
We might still be okay.
Gage, speaking of my pause, I just want to address that real quick as well.
Right.
Since last week, Gage, since last week I didn't have a chance to defend why there was a pause there.
We bickered about it for like an hour, but continue.
I know, but that was not on official stream here. The reason why there was a pause there, guys, was because I had answered PlayStation 4 in a previous question. So I said, I can't do that again because they are going to destroy me. So I started saying Modern Warfare, and then I was thinking 2 or 3. Is it 2 or 3? And as I'm saying 2, Christian's also saying incorrect. Dan
doesn't realize that this almost is worse because you're admitting that you didn't know which one, and that pause. First of all, we've gone so far because originally there was no pause. If you watch the clip, originally there was no pause. Christian and I were crazy. Now, you admit that there was a pause.
No, that's
and then you're saying
correct.
that the pause was because you were trying to decide between two different games.
No, that is not what I was saying. The reason why I was going off on the stream was because of that reason, but I didn't have the chance to explain that. And instead, you guys assumed I was saying no pause. I was saying, no, that's not correct. I was saying Modern Warfare 2. I wasn't disagreeing that there was a pause. Of course there was a pause. I was saying, no, it was not Modern Warfare that I was saying. It was Modern Warfare 2. If I was saying Modern Warfare, I would have said Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
But there's no way for us to know that. I know that you say that.
That's the game's name.
Okay, but here's what I'm gonna propose for the sake of this podcast, for the sake of the audience. I am putting forward. The audience doesn't know about this yet, and I want to still keep it a surprise, so they're gonna be kind of thrown off. But I guess this could also be considered a tease. I want this to be the very first case for Judge Warner. I want Dan to come up with all of his evidence.
I've presented it.
No.
Right now,
and
on Twitter, everywhere.
No. You're gonna get everything you need. I'm gonna get everything I need. Christian can do that as well. And Rashan will decide a year from now, and then that will be it, and we will respect it.
Thank you, bro.
Do you know the biggest travesty of it all, though? Christian
awarding
you the points for it because I had already given the correct answers.
No, I knew what. Listen. All right, moving on. What's the next bit? This is gonna be the death of us. The stakes could not be lower.
I was just presenting my evidence because I felt like nobody cared to hear my side of it last week, so I'm presenting my evidence, and nobody still cares about it this week.
I have to be nice.
Listen, we're gonna do this in an official setting next year with that thing we have planned, and then it'll be decided then.
We're gonna forget.
We will leave it.
We're gonna forget about this.
We're not gonna forget. I promise you.
Also, can I just point out?
You and me, Dan, we're not forgetting.
Can I just point out that Judge Warner already made his ruling on Twitter when afterwards he said,
"No, he did not make an official ruling."
When he said, "I'm on Dan's side now."
I said I'm starting to lean.
Exactly. You just
I didn't make my
down,
final
Dan.
decision. Let me check my tweet.
Down.
You guys keep doing it. Did I say something that I shouldn't?
No, you said exactly what you just said
yes.
now.
You did. You said leaning towards Dan. That's what you just said is what you said.
See, Dan's fibbing again.
I'm not
fibbing up a storm.
I'm not fibbing at all. I'm telling you. Forget it.
I personally love to answer
on.
questions incorrectly.
What?
You said what happened? Moving on? Hell yeah.
Christian, you gave the biggest travesty by giving Gage both questions correct and giving Gage 14 seconds to answer a question that no one else had. How is that?
You can't say both though, because you've agreed that the first one was a mistake. So you can't use that as evidence. If you're agreeing with us that the PlayStation 3 then 4 debacle.
I am, yes.
Okay,
correct.
So then stop using multiple questions if you agree with that one.
But
if
no,
that one's fine, then you can just...
I'm agreeing with me not getting those points, but you still got awarded the points when obviously you knew the answer.
True. I don't know. Listen, this will be settled eventually, officially, in a judicial manner.
It's been settled enough.
Dan has been won. Dan has won. That's the cherry on top, is that you won the game.
I understand that I won. I'm just saying I felt like I didn't get a chance to explain my reasoning, and everybody... Forget it. Anywho... Moving on, PXN's best of all time. August theme is announced. We are going with best video game location / setting. So yeah, we're gonna pick those.
Ooh.
Next week we'll announce our individual picks, and yeah, that'll be exciting.
That'll
What
be
does this
fun.
mean?
What?
When
Huh?
you know, like,
I didn't
is
hear.
it like is it for the whole game or like a certain chapter, or how's this gonna work?
I guess it'd have to be. Yeah, I guess if your game takes you to multiple locations,
Choose a
uh,
location.
I guess that's fair. Yeah, and then anything that happens in that location, you can use for part of your argument as
Yeah.
to why it's. Yeah, okay.
I don't think like you won't say God of War for best location. You choose this location, and God of War is best location in a video game, right?
Right.
Even though it has more than one location.
I feel
Like-
we could go
I
either
feel
way.
like
but
most games take place in more than one place, right?
Yeah, I'm leaning towards your mindset, Rashan, but I feel like you could go either way. You could say like anything in the game is fair game, and it's
Right.
all works
'Cause-
towards it.
Here's my thing. I wouldn't pick a certain place from Zelda Ocarina of Time. I would pick like Hyrule, like the whole thing.
Yeah, that's
Is
fine.
the-
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I guess that's true too, because like somebody chose The Last of Us. It's like the whole game is a road trip. So how can you only pick one?
That's true. Okay.
Yeah, I think
So-
Hyrule's fair. Like, if like an area or whatever. It doesn't. I don't think it has to be a specific, location within the world. If it's you want to choose Hyrule, or if you want to choose Midgard, or etc.
Right.
So like, would the setting of The Last of Us be like post-apocalyptic U.S.? That's the setting of The Last of Us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Listen, we make
Okay.
the rules here, just like you make the rules for PXN Jeopardy.
That's this guy, man.
Moving into our what you got for me. Doom Eternal, Ancient Gods Part 1. I started that up and have been playing that the last couple weeks off and on. Very much enjoying that DLC. It's the first time I've played it since I beat the original game. I never got a chance to go back for the DLC, so I'm going back now. Of course, one of my backlogged items that I didn't talk about on our backlog episode. But yeah, this DLC is fantastic. Very difficult and challenging. It's absolutely insane how the difficulty ramps up over the course of Doom Eternal, and that continues into the DLC. Like, it is very difficult, but I really enjoy it. It's not like a irritating difficulty. It's more like, oh, I did this wrong, I need to correct this for my next run. So yeah, very much enjoying that. So Ro, what you get?
I got nothing. Still got nothing.
I respect it.
I really want to play Cult of Lamb though. I've been watching a bunch of streams play, and it's like, this looks like my jam. I want to play it really bad. So will I play it by next week? Definitely not. But I'm on break after next week though. So maybe I'll get a chance to play it the week after.
Heck yeah.
A fortnight away.
Yes.
Fortnite away. Christian, what you got for me?
First of all, I've been back on Tinder every night, swiping
yeah.
away. It's been a lot of fun. I redid my bio. Tinder, the hardest game of them all, to be honest, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Otherwise, so the other game that I've been playing, it was kind of a like spur of the moment purchase for me that I didn't think I would end up buying, but here we are. I watched my friend play it, and it was apparently the first time he was ever playing it, and he was playing it through emulator on PC, so it was the actual GameCube game. But I know that they had released a remaster of this series, not just the first game, but also the second. And I was just watching him play. I'm like, dude, I have that itch because this is all I would play in middle school. I would listen to my books via audio cassette and play this game.
Banana.
A game that
Wait, what? What just
a
happened?
game that doctors use to play to improve their hand-eye coordination. I'm talking about Super Monkey Ball.
Yeah.
Banana Mania, I
Yep.
think, is the remake, and still just as fun as ever. Like, I love Super Monkey Ball to death. Like, I'm a Super Monkey Ball fan, die hard. Like, I'm talking like I would used to play the mini games, Monkey Ball Target, Monkey Pool, Monkey Golf, all of it, Monkey Fight, dude. The one critique I have of this game, okay, it feels like I prefer the GameCube game. Something about it is just a bit off in the actual controls. Otherwise, I wish it was multiplayer. I need to play Monkey Fight, Monkey Target, Monkey Party, all that stuff with friends online. But the game itself, fun. Podcasting, listening to podcasts and playing it, heck yeah. Shout out to you. Having a good time.
I haven't played Monkey Ball, but I've seen so many gameplay videos of it, like on YouTube and like speedrunners doing it on Twitch, and it seems like a game I would enjoy. But like you were saying, like you had to use an emulator for this, right?
No. That's
Oh.
how he was playing the original. I just bought the remaster on.
Oh,
on sale
okay,
for like
okay.
$30.
That's what I was going to ask actually. Like, would that be a good entry point? I guess it's the only entry point right now, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and it's nice because it's also a PS4 game as well, so you'll be able to play it. I don't know, like it doesn't have the exact charm that the original has. Like it definitely, like the remaster, like the music is different, like menus are different. It's easier. It's a lot more approachable because it's you can do like hint mode or whatever and get extra time, et cetera, et cetera. So it's more approachable that way. But if you're like a diehard fan, then like the GameCube was like the definitive version in my opinion. Still a good game though. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Hell yeah. Do you want a Super Monkey Ball remake, but with like the graphics and technology of like the Planet of the Apes reboot?
Oh my god, like the visual fidelity of
Yes,
Caesar.
and the serious and the tone.
Oh, dude, why not? Apes together ball.
Apes
Christian-
together ball.
Christian, I vaguely remember you saying that you'll never play Banana Mania.
I
Back
said
in
this
the day.
1000%. Yeah, I'm weak, Dan. What do you want from me?
I don't know. Why couldn't you have been weak last week?
Dan's least favorite movie is Frozen. Want to know why? Because he won't let it go.
See, Dan, I don't feel bad for you because you started the first thing you did this episode was bring it up. I don't
What
feel
do
bad
you-
for you at all.
What do you
said-
expect?
I expected more from you. Why can't you be more like Rashan?
Hell yeah. That's my idol.
That is my idol. Trust and row.
Gage, what you got?
Goodness.
Goodness. I got a vendetta. Let me fucking tell you, Dan. I've been playing an unhealthy amount of Tarkov still. Grinding up. I don't even want to know how many hours I put into this wipe, but it's bad. It's really bad. Like I'm looking at my progress, and I don't, like I said, I'm not a big streamer guy, but my friend who sends me tips and videos and all that stuff, like I'm not that far off from some of like the professional Tarkov streamers. I'm like, I'm just doing this for fun. This is bad. This is not good. So put way too much time into Tarkov. I've been playing some Halo Infinite with you, Daniel, and some Battlefield with Christian and Dan and all that good stuff. I'm kind of finding my groove with Battlefield. I'm getting into it. I still think, as you said, there's not a lot of content, and similar to Halo Infinite, like they've got a long way to go, but it's definitely a fixable game. It's not irreversible. It's not a lost cause. So I mean, I think in a year from now, I'm sure Halo Infinite will be great, but specifically Battlefield 2042, I'm sure will be. I'm sure it's going to have a Battlefield 4 trajectory where it just gets better and better over time. So I am enjoying that quite a bit.
Heck yeah. We're gonna have to get Ro involved in some game sessions when he's out of school here in a
Absolutely.
couple weeks.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
You kill everyone.
Hell yeah.
Definitely not. But I'll try. Try my hardest.
All right, guys. Moving into the topic of the show, remake or bust, guys. What 3 games? Here we go. Are you most wanting to see a remake from, and why do you want to see that? Also, I want you to choose a game that we aren't already getting, so one that's not already announced. So Dead Space has already been announced, Splinter Cell, Max Payne 1+2, Resident Evil 4, etc., etc. So I guess let's start her off. Let's start her off with Ro. Ro, what's your
Okay.
first one? What's your first one?
Okay. I think I'm going to work backwards on the list that I put in the doc, though. But before I give you my number 3, I just want to give some quick honorable mentions that may spark conversation, may not, I don't know. But one of my honorable mentions is Pokemon Black and White. Love that game. I would love them to remake that like they did with Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. Fighting Vipers is just like a Sega Dreamcast game, or maybe it was Saturn, I'm not sure, but it was a fun fighting game from my childhood that I really liked. Love them to bring them back with those characters, especially with the whole fighting game craze that is going on right now with Street Fighter 6 and Guilty Gear. And Kid Icarus Uprising. I will take a port or a reboot, I just want to play that game again, just not on my 3DS. I would love it to be on the Switch. I think Kid Icarus should come back. It's a long time coming. And my last one that I may have sparked conversation, may not, but the original Uncharted, like Uncharted 1.
Ooh.
I know I would love that to be remade like a RE remake sort of style, or Last of Us 1 Part 2, I guess, is more apt for this conversation. But yeah, the gunplay didn't age very well, but like the story, the atmosphere, everything about Uncharted 1 is awesome. So I'd love to see them update that sometime in the future. Probably be a ways away, but I'd love them to revisit. But my number 3 is Pokemon Red. Like the original one, I know they did Fire Red, but I would love them to do what they've been doing with Dragon Quest and Octopath Traveler. Don't bring it into 3D, do HD 2D stuff that's going on. Just use pixel art. It's never going to happen. But I would love it if they would just like make the pixel art beautiful. Same old Pokemon game, literally the same game, but just make it HD 2D, like how they do with Dragon Quest 2. I think they're doing that in a couple of months. They're releasing something like that. And what they do with Final Fantasy a couple of times too. But yeah, that would be a dream come true. I would love.
Cool.
It would sell too.
Yeah, I feel like Nintendo doesn't think so, but I think.
Yeah.
A lot of people that are older even would be super nostalgic for that.
Yeah.
Nostalgic, yeah. Christian, give us your number 3 and any honorable mentions you got.
Okay, okay, that's fair. I can start with my honorable mentions for sure. I wrote a few in here. Metroid Prime, I wrote in here. I put this in honorable mention because I think we are getting the remaster from Nintendo, which I think is good enough because it's not a super old game. I think it'll be fine with just a few touch-ups. But like a full-on remake, I think would be just absolutely awesome. That's just asking for probably a bit too much, but yeah, it'd be cool. Remaster is just fine, so that's why honorable mention. Need for Speed Underground, the first one, I think is an absolutely incredible game. I still think about it. You'd probably have trouble with like licensing issues if you did like a full remake, which is the trouble there. But I mean, even a new entry would be sufficient for me, if not a remake. And then last is a Konami game, which is Silent Hill 2, which I think is acclaimed as the best of the Silent Hill games. I think it would be awesome as a remake, and I think you could do it. Who would do it? I don't know. But this is of these 3 honorable mentions. I think this is definitely the one that would be worth bringing to modern consoles the most. So, and especially in like the renaissance of survival horror, I think it's perfect. But the first one that I'm starting with for remakes is actually Ape Escape. We just got the kind of port on PlayStation Premium. People checked it out. If they liked it, they liked it. If they didn't, they didn't. And that's okay. I think Blue Point would be great for said Blue Point. Team Asobi would be perfect for a revitalization of Ape Escape. No doubt with what they're doing with Astro. Honestly, a spiritual sequel or some kind of direct sequel to Ape Escape would probably be the better route. A remake would be, I think, sufficient. And I think it'd be a lot of fun to have some kind of inspirations from Astro into like an Ape Escape remake. I think it'd be a lot of fun and it'd go a long way with getting more family-friendly titles on PlayStation. So I think it could be awesome.
Sweet. Gage, what's your number 3 and any honorable mentions you got?
Okay. Realistically, this should be in my top 3 in terms of how much I want it. Maybe it'd even be number 1, but I'm gonna put this in the honorable mentions because we've all talked about it before, and I want to give some time to some other games. So honorable mention, Red Dead Redemption remake. Obviously, we've talked about it before. It's something that everybody would be super down for. You already have the map. Just port it into the new engine. You don't even have to touch the voice lines because, as we've all said, I think people forget how good the story was in the first one and how good the voice acting was. So that's an honorable mention. We've talked about that a lot. I probably want that more than anything on my list, but we've talked about that before. So I'm going to say Red Dead Redemption. It's an honorable mention. And I'm going to say Halo 3 as an honorable mention as well. It's the only one that hasn't gotten the full remaster treatment. That's what I thought you were going to pick when we were talking about in the pre-show. Obviously, Blur Studios does an incredible job with cinematics. I'd love to see them not only remake, but like sort of redo some of those scenes and and sort of add some more action-packed stuff to some of the cutscenes in Halo 3, or maybe even just add cutscenes to it. But Halo 3, yeah, it's the odd man out. It hasn't gotten that full treatment, that full facelift yet. So I think that would be nice. But my number 3, it's tough with the order. Okay, I'm gonna go. My number 3 is Telltale's The Walking Dead season 1.
Oh, I was thinking about this one too, actually.
I
Yeah.
played the shit out of it.
I think they've updated it. It's gotten its console enhancements. The engine. I mean, you can only sort of polish a turd so much. And when I say turd, I'm of course talking about the gameplay engine, not the game itself. We all agree the gameplay is fantastic, but I would love to see anyone sit down, look me in the eyes, and say that gameplay engine is anything other than a hot, steaming pile of manure. That game is the hitching in that game is absolutely ridiculous. Sometimes characters would like stand and freeze, and you'd hear the scene play out, and then they'd start moving. Like it's just, I think the caliber of the story does not match the caliber of the gameplay, in my opinion, for that. So I would love to see a remake for that. I would want it to be like a very faithful and sort of like strict remake where ideally in a perfect utopia, I would love for the voice acting to stay the exact same and for it to just be a just purely gameplay animation overhaul. But if it were to mean that we'd get a whole new remake and a brand new engine, I would be fine with a top to bottom remake. But The Walking Dead season 1, the emotional impacts of that game, I would love to see that with like say some supermassive type graphics, right? Like The Quarry or something like that. Like that game would hit like a freight train. Some of the emotional moments in that game if it had that sort of level of connectivity with the characters. So Telltale's The Walking Dead season 1, that's my number 3.
I am currently trying to buy this game on the Humble Bundle
Oh yeah,
for $1. So
Heck yeah.
that's a really good deal.
And it comes with the other seasons too, right?
season 2, and then something said like 400 something. I don't know.
400 days. Yeah.
That's the interlude between season 1 and 2. Yeah, I didn't mind 400 days. I didn't mind it.
Yeah, definitely see it through because Clem's story is great.
Yeah.
All right, guys, my number 3. I don't have any honorable mentions because I'm not
You don't have
honorable.
any honor.
Yeah, I like how we both came up with that. That was good. My number 3 is Fallout 3. Oh, actually, I wish I wouldn't have done that. Anywho, I already committed. Too late. Fallout.
No, what's the other one? Oh, I'm curious.
The one that I was gonna do for number 3.
Yeah.
Should I just?
Are you still gonna do it?
Oh, a different. You mean a different game that's already in your order?
Yes.
Okay, then never mind.
No, I'll just do it. Fallout 3, amazing game back in the day, but man, just like you said that the Telltale engine is a steaming pile of crap, the Bethesda engine back then especially was a steaming pile of crap. So I would love to see Fallout 3 remade and just beautiful glory. Use the Starfield engine because I feel like it's it shouldn't be that different because it's still a continuation of their creation engine.
Right.
And that game was so good. Like the locations in that game, especially, like we'll see that with our August theme that we just talked about. Freaking Megaton is an insane storyline. That city that has a bomb literally in the middle of the city, and people are just like freaking out, like, what do we do about this bomb? Or some people are worshiping the bomb, and some people, it's just weird, but it's so cool. And yeah, I would love to get a updated gameplay of Fallout 3 with better gunplay and stuff like that.
Right.
That's so good.
Man, shout out to old school Bethesda, because not only is Megaton this fantastic, it's got so much interesting lore to it. It's got some of the best, most interesting quest lines in that game, and they just let you delete that at the very beginning of the game if you want. You can just get rid of that entire place.
Yeah.
Like the freedom in old school Bethesda games. Like I really wish. Shout out to Megaton, but also just shout out to Bethesda for letting you just go balls to the walls in that game and just like you said, it's such a well thought out place, and then it's like you can just get rid of it immediately.
Yes.
More games need missable things like that. That's very. I didn't know that was a thing in Fallout 3. That sounds incredible. And one of the reasons why I like The Last of Us Part 2 so much is that their design philosophy was built around a lot of missable story moments that if you did not spend the time to explore, you'd miss. And they're like fantastic stuff that is like to me is like, damn, this is essential to my playthrough. More games need that kind of stuff. Red Dead 2 is a great example too.
Yes.
Mhm.
Because
Oh my
it
God.
gives you that unique experience, right? And it's
Yep.
Red Dead 2 is a great example because that has a linear story, but it can still be your own, right? Right. We talked about the cutscene and that Rashan and I got a completely different cutscene for that, and it's like
Yes.
we can still discuss, we can still have that water cooler discussion about the overall story, but then you get those personable moments, which is really nice. So I agree. That's more games need that absolutely, especially Grand Theft Auto. They kind of have, or not Grand Theft Auto, sorry, Rockstar Games. They kind of have their foot in like two directions, and they kind of need to find a way to sort of blend together their extremely linear story missions, but with their sort of open world, very RPG like
Sure.
open world. So
Absolutely. Ro, what's your second?
Yes.
What's your second pick here?
Christian, was this the one that you couldn't guess?
I think if it's the middle one, then yeah, I couldn't guess it.
Okay. Well, you should have guessed because it's Kirby Air
Oh!
Ride. Yeah.
I got it right before you said it. Yes,
Okay, yeah.
dude. Oh my god.
Kirby Air Ride. If they gotta
Oh.
bring this back, please, Nintendo. Kirby is on a high though, so maybe they'll do it. Like whatever this Kirby, like Sweet Dream course thing is, I don't remember what it's called. Sweet dessert thing looks cute. I like it. There's some racing elements to it. It's adorable. Where's Kirby Air Ride? Bring that back. You want to make Kirby big again? Bring Kirby Air Ride back. Like with online multiplayer, city trial.
Dude, City
And-
Trial multiplayer, could you imagine?
I can imagine, and Nintendo needs to do it, please. But yeah, Kirby Air Ride, it's a huge nostalgia trip for me. I played that game like every day after school, and the gameplay is actually really fun. Like I know a lot of people are down on like the braking to drive instead of accelerating sort of thing. It was a weird kind of way to race, but I enjoyed it, like drifting and all that kind of stuff. It was really cool.
That's what made it different. What made it
Right?
engaging, dude?
Yes.
Oh my god. City Trial is like one of my favorite things of the GameCube. Like GameCube has some sleepers on there, and Kirby Air Ride I think is up there. That collecting different things to make a different ride and like the power ups that by the time the trial finishes, you do a mini game. You don't know what you're gonna get, and like hopefully you have the right build for that game. Oh, dude, so good.
So good.
I love you, Ro. I
Yeah.
respect the shit out of you.
Nintendo, bring that back, please. If you know what's good for you, bring that back.
Nintendo needs to just air out a pass for a touchdown. Give us Kirby Air Ride.
Yes.
Get
Just
it air out.
Yes.
Christian, what's your number two?
Dan thought it was funny.
I did. It's a
I'm actually
Telltale game. Dan thought it was funny.
Okay, that's a good one. I respect that one. I'm gonna skip my middle one and go to something that's a bit more familiar territory. We just got obviously a huge PlayStation remake very recently. It was at the launch of the PS5 with Blue Point's Demon Souls. And I think it'd be worth revisiting Dark Souls 1 for a remake. I think that game is perfect as it is. There's a few design philosophies. Actually, I take that back. There's a few design philosophies I would absolutely change because a lot of it is like, oh, I wish this was a bit better just to make it easier for me. And I'm talking just like placements of things, which is the bonfire specifically. Even if you left that in, it would still be a phenomenal, like flawed masterpiece to bring to modern consoles. And I think enough people are trying Dark Souls 1 now after Elden Ring, given how like acclaimed that trilogy is, that you know, if it's that old technology is holding you back, I think it'd be worth exploring some kind of remake. I think it'd be fantastic, and you could leave honestly so much of it the same, and it'd still be incredible. Look at how Blue Point redid Demon Souls; like it's the same stuff, but obviously with reworked visual assets and updated models. But yeah, it'd be great. Oh, I can't imagine how. Spoilers, I guess, for what I'm gonna be picking next week for this video game location, but like Dark Souls 1, like is gonna be there. It's fantastic, so good.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah. I would like that too, actually. As someone who hasn't played a Souls yet, Elden Ring is definitely. I want that to be my first, but if I like it, I would love to give Dark Souls a try, just for like
So good.
it being the
It's
first.
so
Yeah.
They can't trick me again. I'm not buying it a fourth time. Nope.
Fourth time.
Yes. Gage,
Oh.
what's your number two?
number two is Probably my favorite skateboarding game of all time, Tony Hawk's Project 8. It's super unfortunate because I have not been able to find this. You can't. I don't think you can buy it digitally for on Xbox for backwards compatibility. You might be able to play it if you had a physical disc, but that's impossible to find. I've been hankering to play this game ever since I got back into Skate, which is available through backwards compatibility. I love Project 8. I mean, it's been so long since I played it, so I totally could be misremembering it. I don't think I am, but like, I don't know. It was the perfect blend of like semi-realistic skateboarding, but it's still it almost seems like it was Tony Hawk's version of Skate, where it's like you're still using the buttons to do your combos. You can still do ridiculous combos, but everything's just a bit more better animated. You had your ragdoll sort of events where you could do your, Hall of Meat, but whatever their version was called. I remember the open world being really fun and really, really cool designed areas. I remember the school in that specifically had so many cool places to combo. And it was the only story that like I didn't hate. I don't remember the story being great, but like it was campy and it was fun. And I just miss this game. I think it'd be a great alternative to Skate, where Skate is very, very simulation. It's very even on easy mode, it's very difficult. It's got a huge learning curve. So I would love to have an alternative to that. And I think Project 8 is a great sort of casual arcadey alternative to a somewhat more realistic Skate game. So Project 8, I want it back, or I want it to be bought on digital at the very least. But Christian,
There are two things I still think about with Project 8 to this day. That's why I wrote "Yo" in the doc. One is like hands down the opening to that game. Even though like you can look it up on YouTube, even though like it's ugly, it's a 16-year-old game compared to like what our games look like now. The vibes in that opening are probably like the top 10 video game like cutscenes of all time for me.
oh,
Like,
is that are you talking about the reel with the song playing?
Yeah, with Kasabian's Club Foot playing, it's like the slow mo. And
Yes.
that leads into the second thing,
Yes.
which why I think what makes this game so special. I can see like the comparisons to Skate. It had nail the trick, like mode or not mode, but like a gameplay mechanic where you pushed in the two sticks and you'd go slow mo mode, and if you were in the air, you would control each individual foot
Right.
with the sticks, so you could do like individual like impossibles or kick flips, heel flips, depending on where your feet were going.
You could do a custom flip trick. Yeah, that was the big hook, right?
And oh, dude, it's so good the way like it feels so good to click that in and go into slow mo like going off a bank, and
Right.
it's like it's so good. Project 8 is like a very much like an underrated Tony Hawk game, so that's
I agree
a
with that, man.
fantastic pick.
Yeah, I love Project 8. So good. Oh, I totally forgot. I picked this and I totally forgot about that custom flip thing. So I completely forgot about that, and I still chose this. Dude, that game is extremely underrated. I miss Project 8 so much.
Shout out Downhill Jam for the Wii too. Just throwing that in there.
Project 8 is one of the few Tony Hawk games I haven't played. So
oh man, that would be, if you ever get a hankering for a Skate game and somehow you find your way into it, that'd be great to play for the first time. It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
Heck yeah. All right, my number 2, which I probably should have had at number 3 instead of Fallout, but anywho, Assassin's Creed remake. Absolutely would love that. Go back. We've had this discussion before. New Assassin's Creed, old Assassin's Creed, gameplay differences. Obviously, the original is much more stealth focused. And I'm a big fan of both. I think both have a place. And I would love to even see Ubisoft experiment and do something like 1 year they do the stealth-based version, 1 year they do the more open-world RPG version. I think that both could coexist very well. And I think this would be a perfect opportunity for that, to go back to the original stealth-based combat of the original Assassin's Creed to make a remake. And Altair, in my opinion, was a really good character, and that didn't even necessarily come to full fruition at the end of Assassin's Creed. It was more so Assassin's Creed Revelations when Ezio meets up with Altair, essentially in the Animus. What?
Spoilers.
Oh. Spoilers for...
The game is like...
No one cares. No, it was a joke. Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, a very old game. But yes, I think that interaction was fantastic and like really made me love Altair as a character. So I really would love to see them do a proper remake for that game and just enhance that combat and enhance the stealth mechanics. And I I do like, while I do enjoy the current Assassin's Creed, I do miss that original Assassin's Creed flavor as well. And gosh, give us that multiplayer back, because that was actually really cool and inventive. So yeah.
Are you talking about the player versus player?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The one where you can like disguise yourself.
Brotherhood, yeah.
Yes, Brotherhood and Revelations, I think, also had it as well.
I think
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I do miss that. I thought it was fun to disguise yourself and stuff. But, Ro, what is your number one remake you want to see?
Yes. Before I get to my number one, when Christian and Gage were talking about Tony Hawk, I got some more honorable mentions. Plus, one other thing about the Tony Hawk games that I do miss is Neversoft. Just like the logo itself.
Yeah.
I love that logo. And they always do some really cool like intros with it. And I think for the Project 8 one, they had like this weird skateboarder dude, like a really weird, like squishy skateboardy. I don't know. You guys could look it up. But I miss the weird intros. Those are always fun. Just booting up a PS2 and like, this is so weird. I shouldn't be looking at this, but I love it.
Yeah,
But
a pole like stabbing
the
through
skewer
the eye
stabbing the eye
every time.
Yeah.
Oh, so cool. But yeah, the honorable mentions that I thought of when you guys were talking about that was Need for Speed Underground. I would love that to come back. That would be a cool. And EA. Oh wait, has it come back?
Fuck me then.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. Sorry. Oh, did you say that?
Yes.
It was,
Oh,
it
it's one of his
was
actual picks.
honorable
Yeah.
mention. Oh,
Oh, is it? Oh, is it honorable mention? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Christian. I apologize. The other
Thank you,
one
bro.
was I hope you didn't say this too. NBA Street EA Sports Big. Okay, good. That's another one I would love to come back
Man,
as well.
I picked that. I said that.
that. Okay, for my last pick, my number one pick, I wouldn't be me if my entire list wasn't just freaking Nintendo. Legend of Zelda Minish Cap by Capcom / Nintendo. One of my favorite Zelda games, only below Wind Waker and Breath of the Wild. That game just has such an amazing style. I would love it to just do the Link's Awakening treatment. That would be cool. I would love that. Top down 2D, that would be awesome. But I kept thinking about it, like if they did a full remake of this and did like a Wind Waker style behind the shoulder, like that would be so cool, especially for this type of game where you can shrink. So having like being in an environment as Link and then just like, oh, this is really cool. I like this area. I can explore it. And then you shrink and then it's a completely different environment, totally beautiful. Being able to walk around with the Minish or the Picori or whatever. But yeah, that game is one of my favorites. I would love that to be remade in honestly any style. I just want to play it again. Yes, Christian.
Off Minish Cap, I also want to just shout out Four Swords Adventure.
Yes,
which is like not a lot of people talk about that as Zelda game either. Like, but I also think it's fantastic as
Me too.
well.
Too. But yeah, Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, bringing that back.
Incredible pick, bro. Incredible.
Every time somebody talks about Legend of Zelda, I feel like there's more games than there have been before. Like my understanding of Legend of Zelda was there was Legend of Zelda, there was Ocarina of Time, and there was Link's Awakening. And then they remade one of them, and it was like everybody's talking about Wind Waker and how it's amazing. And I was like, I didn't even know this game exists. And you just said Minish Cap, and I was like, you made that up. That's not even a real game. You just made that up just now. Every time Legend of Zelda gets brought up, there's suddenly more games in this franchise that's just growing forever. Apparently, Minish Cap.
Games.
How? Yeah, I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
How many are there?
I think 29, 30.
That sounds like a lot.
According to Google, it's 29. Maybe that they're including like spin-offs and stuff too.
Well, remember when we looked
Like
it up and there was
Hyrule
like
Wars and
90.
Yeah,
96. Yeah, Final Fantasy games. Was that on air that we did that? Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
could be like re-releases as well, like maybe.
For sure.
That's true.
They definitely count that, yeah.
Okay,
according to they are, because on the release timeline I'm seeing 26 individual, so there's at least 3 that Google is counting.
Yeah.
Right.
Extras. But 26 like individual
That's nuts.
Zelda games is a lot as well.
That's crazy.
Christian, what's your number 1 most wanted?
I have a controversial pick here for my last one. If you're reading the doc, you can guess what it is. I have to preface it this way. Metal Gear Solid 1 should not be remade. Would I love it? Yes, but it would need serious overhauling on the level design game front. They did a remake once, technically, more of a remaster. It was kind of remade. It gets weird with like GameCube, Twin Snakes, and that worked just fine. But like, it was sort of broken. Going into first person does break that game. I don't know how you would remake it, and then have it be top down. I don't think that's what people would want out of a remake. And it'd be hard just because it's just older design. It would not work unless it was like serious overhaul. And I don't know who would do that. And if they do that, like, is it still technically Metal Gear Solid 1 anymore? I don't know. Ship of Theseus moment.
Can I just interject really quickly?
Yeah.
What about a Resident Evil 2 situation?
Okay, this is where I was heading.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
And I think for me, what I look to is Resident Evil 2 and seeing how they remade, obviously, RE2. Not for Metal Gear Solid 1, for Metal Gear Solid 2 specifically. I think this is the one that I think you would lead off with a remake. You can get away with just like porting MGS1 to modern. You can give it like a fresh coat of paint to make it like at least like some kind of remaster or like up-res it, and I think it would be just fine. Playing that game as an artifact of its time, I think, is the way to go. And remaking Metal Gear Solid 2 as the jumping off point to remaking like the rest of the games, I think is the way I think would want to have these games come out. And I don't know. Like, and I was looking up like stuff about MGS1 remake because I know it's been like rumored for a long time. There was that rumor that Blue Point handed it off to another team, and there's like stuff on Twitter. People are saying that it's a PSVR 2 launch title. I don't source, trust me, bro, energy on this, but like,
Right.
It's very much like no one knows how you remake Metal Gear Solid 1. So I say just skip that. Go with MGS2. It would work just fine. That level design is perfect for like a third person style game. So yeah, absolutely. MGS2. Remake that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Glenn. Oh, sorry.
No. I kind of answered my own question with what I was thinking. Why would they remake 2 if they're not going to remake 1? But they remade Resident Evil 2, and yeah, it's no big deal if it's the second one, I guess. I'm just thinking about like a new fan trying to pick up Metal Gear Solid and it being the second one. Like, would that sell? But
yeah, but
I guess it would. Yeah.
Yeah, because Resident Evil 1 got exactly what you're talking about, Christian. It got like a remaster where it didn't change. You still had the awful camera nonsense, the static camera and all that stuff, and then they're like, oh, we'll just start with 2 for a just complete overhaul for some reason. So I guess in this
and it worked
hypothetical situation, yeah, it would be the same thing. Yeah, absolutely. What's Glenn saying in the chat now?
Glenn says, yes, Ro, NBA Street Volume 2 and Volume 3.
So cool.
I
love that.
Also, when you said that, I remembered NFL Street was great too.
Yeah, all the Street games are awesome. I
The
bring
fake
them
football.
back. Also, while they're at it, bring back backyard basketball.
Oh, yes, all the backyard
all the backyard
games.
sports. Yeah, bring them
Say
all
backyard.
back.
I remember backyard wrestling. I'm not a wrestling fan at all, but I remember backyard wrestling or whatever that game was called. That was fun. That game was absolutely fun. That was brutal. Yeah, it had like all the totally illegal, like really awful, like finishers and stuff like that. Yeah, that was great. That was good stuff.
All right, Gage, what's your number one most wanted remake?
My number one most wanted remake is the best in the franchise, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter. I want it so bad. I mean, we've talked about this and how just modern day Ubisoft is, all of their games have, for better or worse, just kind of meld into the same sort of mixing pot. And there's nothing on console right now. If you want an over the shoulder, like just really tactical, really grounded sort of realism, third person shooter, you can't get that right now. So yeah, I played the absolute crap out of this. I mean, Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2 is the better one, but it's one of those iterative sequels. Like, you'd have to start with this one. It's kind of like your Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2 is like your Miles Morales. It's like yeah, it's technically a sequel, but it's kind of a half sequel. It's very iterative. So I feel like they could capitalize on that and just sort of, if they wanted to remake this game, I feel like it would be incredible. Whether or not it's a huge seller is totally besides the point. It wouldn't have any competition because, like I said, there's no unless Sony brings SOCOM back, which at this point there might
They
be a
won't.
better.
Who knows?
I don't know. I feel like there's a better chance of that happening than Ubisoft. Like, I guess we'll see if Splinter Cell. If Splinter Cell does really well, then maybe they'll do some of their older games. But I think Ghost Recon has definitely fallen down the pecking order. I think if Splinter Cell does really well, they'd probably move on to Assassin's Creed, and then they might do something else like a Far Cry or something like that. Like, I don't know if Ghost Recon has the staying power that it once had, but I feel like just I remember playing this game and it's so great. I spent so much time in the sort of co-op missions that you can do with your friends, and like you get shot in the leg and you're limping for the rest of the match. There's no healing, there's no nothing. It's like tough luck. Oh well. If you want to throw a grenade, you have to put your main gun away and then pull out your grenade, and now that's its own weapon. So then you have to pull it. Like, it's just very slow. It's very tactical. You have to think when you play it. It's the opposite of shooters nowadays. It's just very really high skill curve, and yeah, I love it. I love it. I wish Ubisoft would embrace its old sort of niche genres, but alas, this probably won't ever happen, and I'll just be a sad boy forever.
There's not enough slow games, in my opinion, out there. Like,
Right. Yeah.
everything transitions to more like twitchy, fast stuff, and it's kind of a shame because I think more sim style, even if it is arcadey, like, you know, Ghost Recon is to an extent, like, it's not a full sim, but like that slowed down gameplay is, in my opinion, like my favorite. It's so good to just like immerse yourself that way, and it's a shame because like I would absolutely kill for like something like this to play with you like now.
Absolutely.
So.
And you know what's a great way to put it is what you just kind of said there. Is just, I would describe Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter as a mix of those two things. It's arcade sim. It's very much what I would call Forza Horizon. Forza Horizon is arcade sim. It has really deep mechanics if you want to get into it, or you can just drive around. Like Ghost Recon, you can totally play the co-op missions with your friends and like have somebody be the sniper and set up across the map and coordinate and use your drone to spot people, or you can just load up an elimination round and just walk around the map shooting people. Like, it is that arcade sim, and that genre has completely gone away, which is unfortunate because I think there is an audience for it. I mean, look at a game like Tarkov, like we talk about all the time. Dan probably would not last 5 minutes in this game, and that's fine. It's not for everyone. It is ridiculously simulation, but Tarkov is getting more and more popular. I mean, hell, it's inspiring Call of Duty. It's inspiring Battlefield. So it's just funny how developers will see that and they'll say, how can we make the fast, twitchy version of this? As opposed to, hey, we have IP that kind of did this before. Let's just bring that back faithfully. It's like, no, let's put a Tarkov mode in a really fast game. It's like, yeah, I miss the arcade sim genre. Like I said, SOCOM was that genre as well. And it seems like that sort of middle ground has just completely faded away. You have either super twitchy, super accessible shooters, or you have this super sim stuff. And the super sim stuff nowadays is all locked on PC. Arma, Tarkov, all that stuff, you have to get on PC. You can't get on console. I mean, except for Arma Reforged, which just came to Xbox, which is kind of huge. But yeah, I would love for that stuff to come back. Absolutely. I would play the crap out of that with you, Christian. Oh my good lord.
Yeah.
All right, so round it out with my number one here, guys. Halo Combat Evolved. Gage, you asked why you said you were surprised that I didn't choose Halo 3. The reason is Halo Combat Evolved's anniversary version came out in 2010, or I'm sorry, 2011, and that game is already very, very, very dated. And honestly, the game was dated when it came out. I'm sorry, Saber Interactive. That art style that you got, that was horrible.
Yeah, not good.
Sergeant Johnson looks like he's about 400 pounds in the anniversary mode. You press the button to go to the classic mode, and it's normal Sergeant Johnson. It's like, how do you mess that up? Like, do you not see?
The ladies love girth.
Yeah,
right?
The big boy, Sergeant Johnson.
Yeah.
But
He's
also
got a lot of love to give.
But also, like, the cutscenes, for instance, Gage, you mentioned the Halo 2 anniversary cutscenes, which are made by Blur, which are freaking phenomenal. Beautiful freaking cutscenes. And Halo C anniversary's cutscenes are in-engine and, obviously, as we just discussed, not good. So I would love to see a from-the-ground-up remake of Combat Evolved, and even in the Halo Infinite engine would be fantastic. Like, having
that would be really cool.
Yeah, having the open nature of, you know, especially Halo, the mission Halo in particular in Halo CE, where you crash land on the Halo ring and you're just experiencing that world for the first time. It's really, really cool. I would love to see that in a remake form.
That would be amazing. Yeah, like a proper, like even like gameplay remake, like not just visual remaster,
Yes,
right? You can make a
exactly.
and I would agree with that because I think I get into this argument. I mean, not all the time because I don't use Twitter that much anymore. But when I was more active on Twitter, I would get into this argument where people would talk about what's the best Halo, and people would say Halo 1, and I'm like, listen, like I get it's the first one, and I get that it's important, but like it has aged a lot. The gameplay has aged a lot. So I agree with you. I think a full-on remake would be amazing, and then maybe to start that and then go from
And
like if you do it in Infinite's engine. Halo 1 and then Halo 2 a few years from then and Halo 3. You
Well-
can even do it as DLC for Halo Infinite. That'd be pretty cool.
And the thing is Halo 1, as you're saying, is the most aged game because like that game was made for its time. Like in its time, it was fantastic. So
Absolutely.
like that's the difficult thing of having a discussion about a game that came out in 2001 versus now, because obviously that game wouldn't be good now if it came out, but in the time it was an absolutely phenomenal game. And I do think that if that game was remade, it would bring in new fans that would be very excited to play it, which then would lead them into Halo 2 remaster, which Halo 2 remaster holds up infinitely better than Halo CE because the gameplay had a huge leap. Yeah, thank you. It had a huge leap in gameplay from 1 to 2. So 2 actually feels really good on the remaster, and 3... 3 still holds up to this day. Even visually, 3 still holds up to this day, in my opinion. Like, that game is just beautiful. The lighting, Bungie did a phenomenal job with that lighting engine on the jungle map that you freaking start on. The first mission, it looks so good still to this day. So, yeah, I think it would bring in a lot of new fans. So, I would love it.
And maybe sway some fans who were turned off from CE from playing it on Master Chief Collection.
Hell yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
I would replay it for sure. There are a number of small like things you could improve. Obviously, I agree with you guys. Like Halo 1, like set the precedent for what shooters are today. Like that's like the Rosetta Stone for me. I think I'm sure you guys would agree as well.
Yeah.
But like it has aged a lot. Even playing it, like trying to play it in 2020, like it doesn't feel as good as other games. Looking at you, Halo 4, that one feels really good. Sorry, Dan. But yeah, like a number of small touches even would go a long way, I think, for improving like just overall like minute-to-minute gameplay from Halo 1, let alone like a full remake. That would be huge, I think, for the Halo series. So I'd be all about it for sure.
Hell yeah.
Yes, absolutely. All right, guys, that was a long episode. Do you guys have anything to add before we close out the show?
Dan wasn't wrong on Podcast Jeopardy. Podcast PX in Jeopardy.
I have something to add.
Dan was wrong, did you say?
Wasn't. I didn't enunciate my words. I spoke like an American. I apologize. Sorry.
I do speak like that. I slur.
I slur too.
It's because English is my second language. That's why.
That's not true.
That is 1,000% true.
Is it actually?
Yeah, I learned it when I was 5.
Oh,
I
wow.
was gonna say, yeah. I overcorrected. That's my bad.
Here's my take before we cllose out. While Rose Fork
Sorry.
dangles around. Oh, that's what you were bending over earlier. I was like getting like a shot of Rose hair. I was like, he's eating, I guess.
That was eating.
Hell
We
yeah.
used to complain about like too many remakes, remasters coming to consoles, but I think studios have really found their footing with what games need remakes. I'm looking at, obviously Demon Souls is a big one. Looking ahead to Dead Space.
Yeah.
I almost said Dark Space. Dead Space looks phenomenal. Yeah, I think the titles that are coming with remakes are strong, and I'm like really looking forward to a lot of these. Hoping get a few more, honestly, because I think a lot of games at this point have been a little bit forgotten. Maybe like people haven't played them, and I think having more games be accessible to more people, I think would be is a good thing. So, heck yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't mind. Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say I also don't mind the remaster treatment that I'm seeing recently
Sure.
too, giving like older games that can like hopefully get a second chance. Like Klonoa got a second chance recently. That kind of like a Sonic. It's compared to Sonic, but it plays nothing like platformer. But yeah, like they literally said if this does well, like we might bring it back. So like and Pac-Man is getting another one. Pac World something, Pac-Man's Adventure, I think it's something like that. But yeah, it's cool to see remakes and remasters, and hopefully the Prince of Persia thing is going okay over there. But yeah, I'm all for it as well, Christian.
I have a theory about that. I'm gonna dump the theory right now, but we don't have to talk about it because it's gonna probably lead to a whole discussion. But I think there's a reason. I think there's a subconscious reason why people are kind of changing their mind about remakes and wanting it, is because games are exhausting nowadays. Games are extremely exhausting, and I think people don't realize why they want remakes, but it's because we want the new technology and the new groundbreaking things that games are doing, but we don't want the battle passes, we don't want the loot boxes, we don't want the daily grinding and the daily challenges. We just want, I think I'm gonna say that people subconsciously they sort of yearn for that game that they can pick up. It has a start, it has a finish, it has an end, and they can play it, and they're not expected to log in every month and miss something, or oh, you didn't get this challenge, you don't have this, you don't have that. Like, it's exhausting. Like, I think about how much more I'd be playing Halo Infinite if it launched with all these features, because all there is to do is the multiplayer right now, and I'm like, fuck, it's exhausting. Like, I don't want to do all this. I just want to play a game. So that's my theory as to why the people have kind of changed their tune on remakes as of late. And like, I'm excited to jump into Dead Space. I never got to play it when it came around. I tried to play it on computer. It's not aged well at all. It does not upscale to new hardware very, very good at all. And I know that whatever bonuses they add, that the core game is going to be a remake of Dead Space. I know that it's gonna be. I'm gonna jump in. It's gonna be an 8 to 10, however many hour experience, and I'm gonna be done with it. And I think a lot of people want that right now. Especially because these games are supposed to be like an escape, right? It's supposed to be like a form of entertainment. And there's so many games nowadays that feel like a second job. I feel like you have to jump in. And for some people, that's great. Like Ro, I know you're all about Destiny 2, and Destiny 2 has its core fan base where people love it and they just can't get away from it. But there's a lot of people that play games casually where the games are just getting less and less casual. And I think that's why people are kind of excited for these remakes. That's why I'm excited for a lot of these remakes.
Yeah.
Cool. Heck yeah. Let's get some remake action, you know. Anywho, I don't know.
Smooth.
Daniel. Before we close out the show, I want to apologize to Christian and Gage. I've given you guys a hard way through this episode, but I just wanted to throw my 2 cents in there from last week's debacle. But I do apologize for throwing it on you this episode. And Ro, I apologize to you because I said you were complacent I am complacent. Or illicit, or what's the word? Complicit last episode when you were being quiet about it. I apologize. That's not true.
No, you're absolutely right, though.
And Dan, to be fair, you're talking about throwing in your 2 cents. I mean, right now the pot is at like 34 cents with all of us. We all keep bringing it up. But like at the end of the day, I just want to remind everyone that I mean, the stakes really could not be lower. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Dan, you won in the end. I don't know how. I don't know how. I don't know how it happened. But I think that I think in terms of your Modern Warfare answer, that you are absolutely in the wrong.
All right.
But that doesn't change. That doesn't change how I feel about you. It doesn't change how I feel about you. You're still going to get the biggest smooch when I see you.
All right. Well, I take back my apology to Gage. Thank you again to everyone joining us live on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Thank you, Ro. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Gage. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Much love, and keep on gaming.
I have to pee.
Hashtag Dan was wrong.
See ya.
Hashtag Dan was right.